Good morning everyone and welcome to another tank release video. Today I will be showing you the Bretagne Panther and talking about what the tank is like and everything. And I will start off by saying that I've had quite a few games in this and it was a real struggle to actually get a good game. Now, part of that is because I'm having a very bad health week, which means that focus is something that is very difficult for me right now. So I play pretty much like a random noob. The thing is though, even with me potatoing, in tier 6 you should be able to do better than I have been doing in the games, and that's saying a lot about the tank itself. Now, this tank, historically, it looks amazing because it's pretty much a dead ringer for the tank, that the Bretagne Panther that they have in Bovington, and it looks quite cool, especially for the history freaks and the people that really like things to be realistic and everything. Then this tank will give you what you want. The thing is though, that's about where the good stuff ends. Like, I compared it to the other tanks in tier 6, the other mediums. And all in all, it's not even that bad. The thing is though, when I play tier 6, I mainly play the Schmalturm or the Fury, and I adore both of them, and they pretty much behave a lot better than this tank does. So when it comes to tanks in tier 6, I don't feel that this tank has actually a lot going for it. And yeah, there is that. It can bounce a few shots. Overall, it will not perform all that well. It is definitely not a fantastic tank. It does look cool though, and yeah, when you're in luck and you have a good position and you have a bit of a good team like this, then yes, things can happen and you can win games. I mean, for the most part, my win rate in this tank on my press account isn't even that bad. But mainly that's because I got carried by the teams that I had, and my potatoes were just better than the enemy potatoes. Now, looking at the tank stats themselves, and I'm looking at the tank stats without any provisions and without any equipment and everything. The DPM is 1669, the penetration is 150, the alpha is 160, the rate of fire is 10.43, the reload is 5.75, the caliber is 75, and the shell velocity is 925. Then you have an aim time of 2.21, a dispersion of 0.326. The depression is where the tank gets most depressing. It's only 8 degrees. And again, this is like quite normal for tier 6 mediums. Personally, I don't like tanks that don't really have gun depression. I enjoy my tanks to reach line and to be able to use that rock, but as I pulled back, I already noticed that I would not be able to peek over that ridge like that. And technically, I should have activated my adrenaline here because he's not looking at me, and he will be soon, and I'm a one-shot for him, so that's generally not a good thing. But yeah, my noobing aside, the speed of the tank is 55 kilometers per hour, 20 kilometers per hour backwards, and the engine power is 900. Basically, the effective HP per thingy it's not that bad. Again, it's comparable to most tier 6s, and in that way, this tank, it's probably pretty balanced. But at the same time, I'm also having one of these days, like where what I usually do, going into cheeky positions like this and just going for an early cap, usually this works out, but in this case they decide to two-time me and I'm gonna get absolutely wrecked here. And that's the thing, like, it can bounce a few shots, it's not likely to bounce a lot. I've lost a lot of HP, I know I'm a one-shot, I know I'm gonna die here, and I'm just happy to get another shot in before I actually get blown up. And that's basically the thing with this tank. Like, this is not a fine example of pretty much you're gonna get outgunned by relatively anything you meet, because I'm turning around to deal with this guy, activate my adrenaline and everything, and I know that there's no way in hell I'm gonna outgun him unless I get some really lucky bounces. But as he is top tier and I am not, I know that that is just not going to be the case, and I get horribly gunned down. And I wish that that would be the only example, but this is basically how the games in this tank have gone. Pretty much anything you meet will outgun you. Like, if you're in a very good position, you might get lucky, but overall, this tank is just no. And you get hit because you're quite large, you're quite sluggish in your movements. The reload is okay if you can get all the shots in, and the thing is that even when you get all the shots in, you will still be outgunned pretty much by anything and everything. And this was a prime example of that, because just look at the way that he's no longer got adrenaline in this case, and the small to him is like horribly outgunning me, and in the end I get blown up from the other side, so there is that as well. Same thing, it can bounce stuff. It's not likely to do so very often, because we have this, and then you have the Sue as well, and I just lose a lot of HP. But even though I miss my first shot, I do manage to get at least one shot in here. But that's basically, again, how the games have gone, and it's taken me quite a bit to get just these two good games. One relatively good game, because the first one was relatively good for this tank, and this is the other relatively good game for this tank. Now, again, and I will repeat this, basically the tank is pretty normal for tier 6. It is not a tank that I would enjoy at tier 6, because there's other tanks that I enjoy a lot more, like the Fury, like the Smart Room, like the Easy 8. Pretty much also because this tank is pretty high in profile, and it's sluggish, it's big, it's easily penned, and yes, it can bounce a few shots. You will see that in this game as well, but overall, it's not an easy tank to perform in. I'm not saying like, I mean, it's tier 6. When with the right potatoes on your end, and if you're not completely potatoing yourself like I have been doing, you will do just fine because it is tier 6. But all in all, there's just, this tank hasn't got really anything going for it, and you will mainly want it for the historical accuracy and just the way that the tank looks. Pretty much a dead ringer for the Bovington Tank Museum version of it. And one of the things that I also feel that I need to mention is that this tank, it comes in crates, and you can't buy the crates as such. The crates that you can get this tank from, you get with other purchases. So basically you have to buy stuff, then you get extra things, which in this case means crates for this tank, and then you have to hope that the crates actually drop the tank. So it is a bit of a cumbersome way to want to get a tank. I have no idea what the drop rate is. I have no idea how many crates you get with which bundles and everything. But yeah, you do have to basically buy things, and then you still have to gamble for it. So there is that as well. Overall, yeah, I'm pretty not happy with this tank. Like I said, it's pretty much normal for its tier, but that's also like, that means that it's got nothing going for it. There's nothing about this tank aside from the way that it looks and the historical value of it and all, where you will be like, oh, I'm so glad I have this tank. And for me, that is saying something. I will probably give it a go and see if I can get it, but that's mainly because I'm a collector and I want all tanks on my account. The only one I'm currently missing is the Fearless, and that's going to be a hard pickle to get as well, but I might be able to, at least in bits and pieces, and then maybe getting an offer somewhere or something after tank has been taken out of the rating things. That being said though, that's like totally not related to this tank, but that's the only reason that I will try for this tank, is just to keep my collection as complete as possible and to try to get it that because of that. But just like, no, the tank itself, yes, it is tier 6, so it will handle potatoes quite well. But it doesn't really have the armor. It doesn't. It has a nice little bit of reload and everything. But overall, the tank is just not great. And yeah, I can't really get more critical than that. I have been pretty negative about the tanks that Wargaming put out lately, aside from the Blitz 9000, because I actually really love that one. But overall, I feel like it is my duty to point out all the bad stuff more so than the good stuff, and this belongs in that row. Like, again, for tier 6 compared to the other mats, it's not that bad. It's just that I would enjoy other tanks way more than this one. It's got nothing special going for it aside from its looks. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this little review, or at least appreciated it, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.